Hello, my incredible friends. Today, you're going to experience one of the most extraordinary stories of our generation. This isn't just about learning English. This is about understanding the mind of a man who refuses to accept limitations. Today, we explore the life of Elon Musk, a man who dreams of colonizing Mars, revolutionizing transportation, and saving humanity from extinction. Some call him a genius, others call him crazy, but everyone agrees that Elon Musk is changing our world. We will journey through his childhood in South Africa, his struggles as an immigrant in North America, and his relentless pursuit of seemingly impossible goals. We'll discover how a shy, bullied boy became one of the most influential people on Earth. This story will help you improve your English vocabulary, understanding, and listening skills. But more importantly, it will show you what happens when someone refuses to give up on their wildest dreams. Are you ready to explore the extraordinary mind of Elon Musk? Let's begin this incredible adventure. Elon Reeve Musk was born on June 28, 1971, in Pretoria, South Africa. His father, Errol Musk, was an electromechanical engineer and pilot. His mother, May Musk, was a model and dietitian from Canada. Elon also had a younger brother, Kimball, and a younger sister, Tosca. From the very beginning, Elon was different from other children. While most kids his age were playing with toys, Elon was asking questions about how everything worked. He wanted to understand the mechanics of life, the universe, and technology. When Elon was just 3 years old, his parents noticed something unusual about him. He would often stare into space for minutes at a time, completely lost in thought. His parents were so concerned that they took him to a doctor to test his hearing. They thought he might be deaf. But Elon wasn't deaf. He was thinking. His mind was always working, always processing information, always imagining new possibilities. This intense focus would become one of his greatest strengths throughout his life. Elon's childhood in South Africa was not easy. The country was still under apartheid, a system of racial segregation that created enormous social tensions. Additionally, Elon faced personal challenges that would shape his character forever. School was particularly difficult for Elon. He was small for his age, introverted, and incredibly intelligent. This combination made him a target for bullies. Other children saw him as different, weird, and easy to pick on. The bullying was severe and relentless. One incident that Elon still remembers involved a group of boys who pushed him down a flight of stairs and beat him so badly that he was hospitalized. He lost consciousness and had to stay in the hospital for a week. But perhaps even more painful than the physical bullying was the emotional isolation. Elon felt like he didn't belong anywhere. He was too smart for most kids his age, but too young and awkward to fit in with older students. During these difficult times, Elon found refuge in books. He was an voracious reader, consuming everything from science fiction novels to encyclopedias. He read for up to 10 hours a day, absorbing knowledge like a sponge. His favorite books were science fiction stories about space exploration and futuristic technology. Authors like Isaac Asimov and Robert Heinlein filled his imagination with visions of humans traveling to other planets and creating incredible machines. One book that particularly influenced young Elon was The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams. This humorous science fiction novel taught him that asking the right questions is often more important than having the right answers. Elon also discovered computers at an early age. When he was 9 years old, his father bought him a Commodore VIC-20 computer. Most children would have used it to play games, but Elon wanted to understand how it worked. The computer came with a programming manual that was supposed to take 6 months to complete. Elon finished it in 3 days. He stayed awake for 3 straight days, barely eating, completely absorbed in learning how to program. By age 12, Elon had created his first computer game called Blastar. It was a simple space-themed shooting game, but it was impressive for someone so young. He sold the game to a computer magazine for $500, his first taste of entrepreneurial success. This early experience with programming and entrepreneurship gave Elon confidence that he could create things that didn't exist before. It was the beginning of his lifelong belief that technology could solve almost any problem. However, life at home was also challenging. Elon's parents divorced when he was 10 years old, creating additional emotional stress. He chose to live with his father, a decision he would later describe as one of the worst mistakes of his life. Elon Musk was a complicated man. While he was intelligent and technically skilled, he was also psychologically difficult to live with. Elon has described his father as a terrible human being, and has said that almost every evil thing you could think of, his father has done. Living with his father taught Elon about resilience and self-reliance. He learned that he couldn't depend on others for emotional support or validation. He would have to create his own path in life, regardless of what others thought or said. As Elon entered his teenage years, he began to develop a clear vision for his future. He didn't want to stay in South Africa forever. He dreamed of moving to America, the land of innovation and opportunity. Elon knew that America was where the most exciting technological developments were happening. Companies like Apple, Microsoft, and NASA were pushing the boundaries of what was possible. He wanted to be part of that revolution. But getting to America from South Africa wasn't easy, especially for a teenager with limited resources. Elon needed a plan, and he needed to be strategic about his approach. First, he decided to move to Canada, where his mother had citizenship. This would be easier than going directly to the United States, and it would give him a stepping stone to eventually reach America. At age 17, Elon made the difficult decision to leave South Africa. He had saved some money from various small jobs and computer programming work. With just a few $1,000s and a backpack full of books, he boarded a plane to Canada. The transition to life in Canada was extremely challenging. Elon arrived with very little money and no clear plan for where he would live or work. He spent his first year doing odd jobs and staying with distant relatives. He worked on a farm, cleaned boilers in a lumber mill, and even shoveled grain in storage silos. These were physically demanding jobs that paid very little, but they taught Elon about hard work and perseverance. Despite the difficult circumstances, Elon never lost sight of his ultimate goal. He knew that education was his ticket to a better future, so he applied to universities and worked multiple jobs to pay for his tuition. In 1989, Elon enrolled at Queen's University in Ontario, Canada. He studied economics and physics, subjects that would later prove essential for his entrepreneurial ventures. But more importantly, university gave him access to like-minded people who shared his interests in technology and innovation. During his time at Queen's University, Elon met Justine Wilson, who would later become his first wife. Justine was studying English literature and was impressed by Elon's intelligence and unusual way of thinking about the world. Elon was not a typical college student. While other students were partying and socializing, he was reading books about rocket science and sustainable energy. He was already thinking about problems that most people didn't even know existed. After 2 years at Queen's University, Elon achieved his goal of transferring to the United States. he was accepted at the University of Pennsylvania, where he would pursue dual bachelor's degrees in economics and physics. The University of Pennsylvania was exactly what Elon had been hoping for. He was surrounded by brilliant professors and motivated students. He had access to advanced laboratories and cutting-edge research. This was the environment where his ideas could flourish. During his time at Penn, Elon wrote several papers about sustainable energy and space exploration. His professors were impressed by his ability to think about complex problems from multiple perspectives. He wasn't just learning existing knowledge, he was trying to create new knowledge. One of Elon's most significant realizations during university was that there were several areas where he could potentially make a meaningful impact on humanity's future. He identified the Internet, sustainable energy, and space exploration as the three most important areas for innovation. After graduating from the University of Pennsylvania in 1995, Elon faced a crucial decision. He had been accepted to Stanford University to pursue a PhD in applied physics and materials science. This would have been the traditional path for someone with his academic background. However, Elon could see that the Internet was beginning to transform society in fundamental ways. He felt that if he spent several years in graduate school, he might miss the opportunity to be part of this revolutionary change. After just 2 days at Stanford, Elon made the bold decision to drop out and start his first company. This decision shocked his professors and worried his family, but Elon was convinced that the Internet represented a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. With his brother Kimball, Elon founded a company called Zip2 in 1995. Zip2 was designed to provide online city guides for newspapers. In the mid-1990s, most newspapers didn't have a web presence, and Elon saw this as a massive business opportunity. Starting Zip2 was incredibly difficult. Elon and Kimball had very little money, so they rented a small office that they also used as their apartment. They would shower at the local YMCA and sleep on the office floor. Elon worked 7 days a week, often coding for 12 hours straight. He was responsible for most of the software development, while Kimball focused on business development and sales. They were trying to build a company with almost no resources. The early days of Zip2 were marked by constant stress and uncertainty. They struggled to find customers, attract investors, and compete with larger companies that had more resources. Many times it seemed like the company might fail, but Elon's determination and technical skills eventually paid off. Zip2 began to attract newspaper clients who wanted to establish an online presence. The company's software was innovative and user-friendly, giving it a competitive advantage. In 1999, after 4 years of intense work, Compaq Computer Corporation acquired Zip2 for $307 million. Elon's share of the sale was $22 million, making him a multimillionaire at age 28. This was his first major entrepreneurial success. Most people who suddenly became millionaires might have taken some time to enjoy their wealth, but Elon immediately began planning his next venture. He was driven by a desire to solve bigger problems and have a greater impact on the world. Elon's next company was X.com, an online financial services and payment company founded in 1999. He invested $10 million of his own money from the Zip2 sale to start the company. His vision was to create a comprehensive online bank that could handle all types of financial transactions. X.com was revolutionary for its time. Online banking was still very new, and most people were skeptical about conducting financial transactions over the Internet. Elon had to convince both consumers and regulators that online payments could be safe and reliable. The company faced enormous challenges from the beginning. Traditional banks saw XCOM as a threat and tried to prevent it from obtaining necessary licenses. Regulators were concerned about security and fraud prevention. Technical challenges were also significant. In 2000, XCOM merged with Confinity, a company that had developed a product called PayPal. The merger was turbulent, with disagreements about strategy, leadership, and the company's future direction. Eventually, the company decided to focus entirely on PayPal, the person-to-person payment service that was gaining popularity on eBay. Elon believed that PayPal could become the foundation for a completely new financial system. However, internal conflicts led to Elon being replaced as CEO while he was on vacation. This was a painful experience that taught him important lessons about corporate politics and leadership. Despite the leadership changes, PayPal continued to grow rapidly. The service became essential for eBay transactions and expanded to other online marketplaces. By 2002, PayPal was processing billions of dollars in payments annually. In 2002, eBay acquired PayPal for $1.5 billion. As the largest shareholder, Elon received $165 million from the sale. At age 31, he was now worth hundreds of millions of dollars and could have retired comfortably for the rest of his life. But retirement was never part of Elon's plan. He had much bigger ambitions. With the money from PayPal, he wanted to pursue the goals he had identified in college: sustainable energy and space exploration. Elon had always been fascinated by space exploration. As a child reading science fiction, he had dreamed of humans becoming a multiplanetary species. He believed that establishing a colony on Mars was essential for humanity's long-term survival. However, when Elon researched the space industry, he was shocked by how expensive and inefficient it had become. NASA's budgets were enormous, but progress was slow. Private space companies barely existed. The cost of launching rockets was so high that only governments and the largest corporations could afford space missions. Elon calculated that at current prices, sending humans to Mars would cost hundreds of billions of dollars. Elon began to study rocket technology intensively. He read textbooks about propulsion, aerodynamics, and materials science. He traveled to Russia to investigate whether he could buy refurbished intercontinental ballistic missiles and convert them into rockets. The meetings in Russia did not go well. Russian rocket manufacturers quoted prices that were still extremely high, and they seemed to view Elon as a rich American who didn't understand the space business. During the flight home from Russia, Elon made a crucial realization. Instead of buying expensive rockets from others, he could build them himself for a fraction of the cost. The fundamental components of rockets weren't particularly complex. They were just overpriced. In 2002, Elon founded Space Exploration Technologies, better known as SpaceX. His goal was to reduce space transportation costs by a factor of 10, making it possible for humans to eventually colonize Mars. Starting a rocket company was considered insane by almost everyone in the aerospace industry. Rocket technology was extremely complex, dangerous, and expensive. Many large, well-funded companies had failed in similar attempts, but Elon approached the problem differently than previous entrepreneurs. Instead of trying to improve existing rocket designs incrementally, he started from first principles and questioned every assumption about how rockets should be built. SpaceX's first rocket, the Falcon 1, was designed to be much cheaper and simpler than existing rockets. Elon recruited talented engineers from other aerospace companies and encouraged them to think creatively about solving technical problems. The early years of SpaceX were marked by spectacular failures. The first 3 Falcon 1 launch attempts ended in explosions, destroying the rockets and their payloads. Each failure cost millions of dollars and damaged the company's reputation. After the third failure in 2008, SpaceX was almost out of money. Elon had invested nearly all of his personal wealth in the company, and investors were becoming skeptical about the viability of the business. The fourth Falcon 1 launch in September 2008 was essentially a do-or-die moment for SpaceX. If this launch failed, the company would probably have to shut down. Elon later said that he was praying to any god that would listen. Fortunately, the fourth launch was successful. The Falcon 1 became the first privately funded rocket to reach orbit. This achievement proved that SpaceX's approach could work and attracted new investment and contracts. While building SpaceX, Elon was simultaneously working on another revolutionary company. In 2004, he joined Tesla Motors as chairman and product architect, eventually becoming CEO and leading the company's mission to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable transport. Tesla faced enormous challenges similar to those at SpaceX. The automotive industry was dominated by large, established companies that had been building gasoline cars for over a century. Most people believed that electric cars would never be practical for mainstream use. Elon's strategy with Tesla was similar to his approach with SpaceX. Instead of trying to compete directly with existing car companies, he decided to create a completely new category of electric vehicles that would be superior to gasoline cars in every way. The original Tesla Roadster, launched in 2008, shattered people's preconceptions about electric cars. It was faster, more beautiful, and more technologically advanced than most gasoline sports cars. It proved that electric vehicles could be desirable, not just environmentally responsible. However, building the Roadster nearly bankrupted Tesla. Manufacturing cars turned out to be even more difficult than manufacturing rockets. Quality control problems, supply chain issues, and production delays created enormous financial stress. By 2008, both SpaceX and Tesla were facing potential bankruptcy. The global financial crisis made it almost impossible to raise additional investment. Elon was forced to choose between saving one company or trying to save both. Instead of giving up on either company, Elon made an extraordinary decision. He invested his last $35 million into both companies, leaving himself with almost no personal money. If both companies failed, he would lose everything. This period, which Elon later described as the worst year of his life, tested his resolve like never before. He was working 120 hours per week, splitting his time between SpaceX and Tesla. His personal life was falling apart, and his first marriage was ending in divorce. But somehow, both companies survived. SpaceX secured a major contract with NASA, and Tesla attracted new investors who believed in the electric vehicle revolution. Elon's bet on the future had paid off, but barely. The success of SpaceX and Tesla established Elon as one of the most visionary entrepreneurs of his generation. But he wasn't satisfied with just revolutionizing space travel and automotive transportation. He wanted to solve even bigger problems. In 2013, Elon proposed the concept of the Hyperloop, a high-speed transportation system that could move passengers and cargo at speeds of up to 760 miles per hour. The system would use pneumatic tubes and magnetic levitation to achieve unprecedented speeds. Elon didn't want to build the Hyperloop himself, so he open-sourced the concept and encouraged other companies and researchers to develop the technology. This decision demonstrated his commitment to advancing human progress, even when he wouldn't directly profit from it. Around the same time, Elon became increasingly concerned about the potential risks of artificial intelligence. He worried that AI could eventually become more intelligent than humans and pose an existential threat to humanity. To address this concern, Elon co-founded OpenAI in 2015, a research company dedicated to developing artificial intelligence in a safe and beneficial way. The goal was to ensure that AI development would benefit all of humanity, not just a few powerful companies. Elon also founded Neuralink in 2016, a company focused on developing brain-computer interfaces. The long-term goal of Neuralink is to help humans merge with artificial intelligence, potentially allowing us to keep pace with rapidly advancing AI systems. Another company Elon founded, The Boring Company, aims to solve urban traffic problems by creating underground transportation tunnels. The company has developed new tunneling technologies that could make underground transport faster and more affordable. Throughout all of these ventures, Elon has maintained his original goals of making life multiplanetary and accelerating the transition to sustainable energy. SpaceX has continued to achieve remarkable milestones, including the first reusable rockets and the first private company to send astronauts to the International Space Station. Tesla has become the world's most valuable automaker and has forced the entire automotive industry to accelerate their electric vehicle programs. The company's impact on sustainable transportation has been transformational. But Elon's influence extends far beyond his companies. He has become a cultural icon who represents the possibility of achieving seemingly impossible goals through determination, innovation, and refusing to accept conventional limitations. Elon's communication style, particularly his use of social media, has been both praised and criticized. His Twitter account has millions of followers, and his tweets can move markets and influence public opinion on various topics. Some people admire Elon's willingness to speak his mind and challenge established institutions. Others criticize him for being impulsive and creating unnecessary controversies. But everyone agrees that he has an extraordinary ability to capture public attention and imagination. Elon's personal life has also been subject to intense public scrutiny. He has been married 3 times and has multiple children. He has been open about his struggles with work-life balance and the personal sacrifices required to pursue ambitious goals. Despite his enormous wealth and success, Elon continues to work extremely long hours and push himself to solve increasingly complex problems. He has said that he doesn't work hard because he wants to be rich or famous, but because he genuinely believes that his efforts can help secure a better future for humanity. Looking toward the future, Elon's goals remain as ambitious as ever. SpaceX is developing Starship, a massive rocket system designed to carry up to 100 people to Mars. The company plans to establish a self-sustaining city on Mars within the next few decades. Tesla continues to expand its product line and global presence. The company is developing new battery technologies, autonomous driving systems, and energy storage solutions that could accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy. Elon's other companies are also pursuing revolutionary technologies. Neuralink is conducting trials of brain implants that could help paralyzed patients control computers with their thoughts. The Boring Company is building tunnel systems in several cities to demonstrate the potential of underground transportation. Critics often point out that Elon's timelines are overly optimistic and that his companies have frequently missed production targets and deadlines. They argue that his ambitious goals are sometimes unrealistic and that his management style can be demanding and stressful for employees. Supporters counter that Elon's ambitious timelines, even when not met exactly, push his teams to achieve far more than they would with conservative goals. They argue that his companies have accomplished things that most experts considered impossible. What cannot be disputed is that Elon Musk has fundamentally changed several industries and inspired millions of people to think differently about technology, innovation, and human potential. His story demonstrates what can be achieved when someone refuses to accept that things can't be done. From a bullied child in South Africa to one of the most influential people on Earth, Elon's journey shows us that extraordinary achievements often require extraordinary dedication, risk-taking, and persistence in the face of seemingly impossible odds. Elon Musk's story teaches us several powerful lessons about innovation, entrepreneurship, and personal achievement. First, the importance of thinking from first principles rather than accepting conventional wisdom. Throughout his career, Elon has questioned fundamental assumptions and found new approaches to old problems. Second, the willingness to take enormous risks in pursuit of meaningful goals. Elon has repeatedly invested everything he had in unproven technologies and uncertain ventures. This risk-taking has led to both spectacular failures and revolutionary successes. Third, the power of persistence in the face of failure. SpaceX's first 3 rocket launches failed, Tesla nearly went bankrupt multiple times, and Elon has faced countless setbacks throughout his career. But he has never allowed failure to stop him from pursuing his ultimate objectives. Fourth, the importance of working on problems that truly matter. Elon chose to focus on sustainable energy and space exploration because he believed these areas were critical for humanity's future. This sense of purpose has sustained him through difficult periods when purely financial motivations might not have been sufficient. Fifth, the value of continuous learning and intellectual curiosity. Elon taught himself rocket science, battery technology, automotive engineering, and artificial intelligence by reading books and talking to experts. His ability to quickly master new fields has been essential to his success across multiple industries. Finally, Elon's story demonstrates that individual vision and determination can still change the world, even in an era of large corporations and established institutions. One person with a clear vision and unwavering commitment can create technologies and companies that transform entire industries. Whether you admire Elon Musk or find him controversial, his impact on technology and society is undeniable. He has shown us that the future is not predetermined, but can be actively shaped by people who are willing to work toward their vision of a better world. Thank you for joining me on this incredible journey through the life of Elon Musk. His story reminds us that with enough determination, creativity, and willingness to take risks, even the most ambitious dreams can become reality. If you enjoyed learning about Elon Musk's extraordinary life and want to continue improving your English with more inspiring stories, please subscribe to our channel. We have many more fascinating biographies that will help you learn English while discovering the remarkable achievements of exceptional people. Remember, like Elon Musk, you have the power to create positive change in the world. Keep learning, keep growing, and never stop believing in the possibility of achieving something extraordinary. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next amazing story.